Hi, welcome to the quick scripts tutorial on the hover, rotate and pendulum. These three scripts are smaller than the other scripts in the rest of the pack, but if you know how to combine them, they can be very efficient at making some pretty neat things. So let's get started. First, let's have a look at the hover script. We'll begin just by making a basic cube so that we can apply our scripts to this. There's a couple of ways that you can put the hover script onto the cube. You can go through the component menu to Quick Scripts and down to hover. Alternatively, you can also click Add Component and search for scripts through there. Once the hover script is on your cube in the inspector, it's very easy to just instantly add a number, for example, to the y-axis. It's already set to a speed of 1, so we don't need to worry about that. Hit play. And you can see that the cube begins to hover up and down. You can drag and adjust these numbers to experiment with different values, but remember while you're in play mode that none of these will be getting saved. If you have multiple items that are using the hover script, you can offset the point in which they are doing their hover phase, I guess. The offset slider is between 0 and 3. 3 means it'll basically be 0 again. So for these, we're going to set them to sort of move in a wave. So this one will be 1, and this one will be 2. And because the rest of the settings are the same on each one, when we hit play, you'll see that they'll move in like a S shape. So that's the hover script covered. Now let's have a look at the rotator. We'll delete this and click Add Component, Quick Rotate. At first in here you'll see rotation type. This gives you 3 different options. Linear just means that it moves at that speed constantly. Smoothed will mean that it will ramp up to the speed specified here, for example 10, and for smoothed and exponential speeds you'll also need to specify the acceleration variable as well. For smoothed, this variable means how long it takes it to reach the maximum level, and for exponential it's more of sort of a rate at which it increases over time. I'll show you linear though, so you can just sort of see the basics of it. It's pretty straightforward. There's linear. You can adjust that if you want to. Smoothed with an acceleration of 3 seconds. It will ramp up to its rotation as long as this is ticked, and if you untick this, well, you'll see it decelerates back down to 0. So it'll take 3 seconds to reach a speed of 10, and if we untick this, it will take 3 seconds to reach 0. And I'll show you also exponential. And there it goes. And that sped up very, very, very quickly because the acceleration variable in exponential is a lot stronger than in smoothed. So if you're using the exponential speed, you would probably want to set that as something like 0.5, for example. And you'll see it's a much nicer curve up to a high intensity speed. And the next one is the pendulum. So with the pendulum, it needs to rotate. The pendulum will rotate on an object's pivot. We'll use the transform of an object to rotate on that pivot. So to give you an example of what's not an effective pendulum is if you were to apply it straight onto a cube. In play, you'll see that the cube will just rock side to side like that. But if you want the sort of the proper pendulum look going on where the cube will swing around it, then what you need to do is create an empty game object. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can do create and then create empty. And drag the cube onto that to make it a child of it. With a game object, I recommend, so that you can see where it's actually sitting in the world, clicking this button up here and selecting one of these icons, one of these circular icons, because this actually shows you the point at which the rotation happens around. And the reason you want to do that is so that you can then adjust the cube to be somewhere underneath it. It's probably best to set this back to 0, 0, 0, and then just drag it straight down. Okay, so now that we have the actual pivot point, it's a good idea to rename this Pendulum Pivot, for example. Now apply the Pendulum script to that. And if we hit play, there we go. Now we have a cube that's swinging in a pendulum arc. And don't worry, this icon won't appear in the spherical icon in the middle of the screen. That won't appear in game. That's only in the editor. So as long as you child all the objects of the pivot underneath the pivot point in the hierarchy, then they'll always swing around this. So now we'll have a look at how you can combine these scripts to create some interesting elements in your scene. So we have the pendulum pivot set up to swing forwards and backwards, and now on the cube we're going to add the rotate script. And we'll tell it to rotate at a speed of 3 on the y-axis, just at a linear speed. And if we hit play, you can see now I have something that's spinning and swinging on the arc. And of course, as you can imagine, you can add a hover script to this as well. So these three all work together really nicely. I'll show you my favorite thing to do with these two scripts. I'll get rid of this. The cube will add hover, and we'll add rotate. Remember too, if you're not too sure which scripts are in the pack, you can always go through the component window down to quick scripts and you can see them all down here. Alright, we'll set hover to 0.5 on Y and a speed of 5 and a rotation speed of also 5. Why not? And you'll see in a few easy steps, now we have an object that's bouncing up and down and spinning. And that could be like a pickup or some sort of other effect in your game, made with two scripts in a matter of what, 5 seconds? Easy stuff. Thanks for watching and all the best with your creations.